right, so happy Friday. Today we are going to be talking about color and color palettes and what type of colors you do want to use for your packaging. So I have placed two resources on here that I think you should review, and I'm going to point out a few items about each one. But what we're going to do is you are going to either select or develop a color palette. And your color palette is going to have 5 colors in it. So if we take a look at this very first document, it says about choosing packaging colors. So it goes through some different thoughts about thinking about the buyer. So your consumer should want to connect with the color you choose. So keep your target market in focus. Think about their needs. Think about what's going to motivate them. Okay, we all know that McDonald's has that classic red and yellow color representation. They do that because those colors in their minds when they were developing that logo represent energy and youthfulness, and they think that the target audience can relate to that. A lot of this is very good information. So when you think about competitors, you do want to stand apart from your competitors. So if you think of Coke and Pepsi, you definitely, I'm guessing, associate them with different colors. All right, so this gives you lots of things to think about as you're trying to pick your colors. You also want to think a little bit about color philosophy and color psychology. And I think that the meanings behind color and what people think when they think of certain colors, I think it's very interesting. So this particular website documents and talks about different brands that we associate with different colors. So this might, and different types of products. So this might help you get some ideas as well. So not only the attributes related to the color, but brands that are related to the color. And then it does start to talk about the packaging color by industry and what type, so depending on the type of product that you are developing, and I'm not saying that you have to follow this method necessarily, but this is a good way to get accustomed to thinking about how the consumer might be thinking. And then the other document is 4 steps to choosing your color combination. Now it says for infographics, but this just has to do with choosing color combinations to start with. So we're not going to talk a lot about the theory of color and hue and tone and shades and how that works, but we want to talk a little bit about the color wheel. So we have our primary colors and our secondary colors. So if you don't remember from probably elementary art, your primary colors are those that we can't create with any other color. And our secondary colors are the ones that we can create by mixing colors together. When we are working on planning a color scheme, so right here we have a color scheme. These 5 colors work well together. Here we have a tertiary palette. So we're breaking our color wheel into thirds. Triad. We're breaking it into thirds. Complementary, we're coming across. So the orange and the blue are not the only colors that are complementary. We can also come across this way with our greens and our pinks. Monochromatic, so everything is falling in that same part on the color wheel. We are just changing the shades and the tone of a single color. The shades and the tone of a single color. Here we talk a little bit more about the philosophy and what people think about when they see orange, and we go through all the colors. So I'd recommend that you start today's lesson by taking a look at those. I'm not going to sit here and, I highlighted some points, but I'm not going to sit here and read all of them to you. But something else that is very interesting is if you go to, how did I do this earlier today? Colorpalettes.net. So if you want something in the green colors, you can actually click up here. If you wanted something in the reds, you can click here. If you said, I want something that has a warm color palette, you can click here. something with contrasting color palettes, you can click here. I knew, so the product that I was thinking about as I was developing in my head was a sunscreen. So I was thinking about yellow because the sun is yellow. I was thinking about red because of people being burnt. But I was thinking that my container might reflect the scent of my lotion, of my sunscreen. So I was thinking about a peach scent because I don't think there are sunscreens out there that necessarily have a peach scent. Peaches just remind me of harvest. And I want people to think not only, people think about applying sunscreen maybe at sporting events. They think about applying them at the beach. I was thinking more of, like your 30-plus-year-old that's just going out for the day that might forget to apply the sunscreen. Maybe they're going to a peach festival, so they need to remember their sunscreen. They're going to be out all day. That's kind of where my thought and concept was kind of growing from. So I actually, and this was something else I was working on, I did a search under, how did I do it? I said, what color are peaches? Maybe is what I started with. And I don't know, this is not the one I ended up picking, nor is this one. It was this one is what I ended, but that's how I ended up finding my color scheme, was I came to here. So then I took this image and I copy and pasted it. But then I was also looking for another color scheme kind of in the same manner. So you can see here they added an extra green here, and they kind of discarded the brown color. So these are two different color schemes based off of peaches, essentially. So whether you find your color scheme on a color palette website, or if you develop your own color scheme, it's in material, but you need 5 colors, okay? And then on those 5 colors, I want you to start to see how those colors look on top of each other with different fonts, all right? And I would pick some letters that you think you might use in your name. So mine's going to be a sunscreen. I'm guessing somewhere I will use the word sun, okay? So you can see on top of this brown, I've already used my text tool, and I've applied this peach shade, the orange shade. So if I wanted the yellow, the easiest way to pick up that color is when you click here to change your text color, you can go to that color and click. And I can click, and then I can come up here, and I can change my font. We're going to talk next week a little bit about fonts, but I want you to start to see how this is looking with different fonts and how the colors look when they are laying on top of each other. So you see, I'm not trying to guess at what color this is. I'm not even plugging a number in. I'm just clicking over here and it's picking that color up. And then I'm looking at it in different fonts. And you would repeat this the whole way across with different fonts, different colors. You would not have to do all the same word. You could do a number, but I want you to start to see how those look. You could even choose to do but maybe I want to take that one and I want to put a stroke around it. And I want that stroke to be the yellow color. So you can really start to get, like, to me, this has a whole different vibe than some of this when I pair those 3 colors together. So you can start to see how all your colors mix together. This should be a big mix-up of all your colors. That's what you're going to be doing as your Photopea assignment for today as you're planning your colors. Does that make sense? Is that doable? questions on the assignment? All right, go ahead and get busy. Edge students, if you have questions, please make sure that you are reaching out and letting me know so I can help you out. Have a good one.